I took a survey a few years ago from my email list, and I asked them, what's the hardest part about career advancement? The number one answer was that they were afraid of what's next. So we have these miserable people saying they don't quit their miserable jobs because they're afraid that their boss might be a jerk. To me, that's mind-blowing. I am afraid of death. I am afraid that I won't be able to achieve the things that I want to achieve before I die. I am afraid that the conversation at my funeral is going to be around the things that Robbie wanted to do as opposed to the things that Robbie did. I look 7 ways when I cross the street. When I park my car and I'm just sitting in the parking lot, I keep my seatbelt on. When I go to the airport, I go 4 hours early. I take 0 chances. I am one of the most risk-averse people you will ever meet, except when it comes to my life and my career. Death is my motivation, and death drives my day-to-day decisions. And with that said, I wanted to talk about some of the principles that I live my life by that are the foundation of building a meaningful career and a meaningful life. First principle I live my life by is I assume that every decision that I make is going to be wrong. I took a survey a few years ago from my email list, and I asked them, what's the hardest part about career advancement, or what's the hardest part about actually quitting your job? And the number one answer, and again, this is a free-form question, the number one answer was that they were afraid of what's next. They were afraid that the boss might be a jerk. They were afraid that the company isn't as good as they said they were. They were afraid of what's next. They were afraid of essentially the unknown. And so I want you to put this in perspective. People that join my email list, fire me, I beg you, are probably at the lowest points of their career, and it's usually because they're miserable. So we have these miserable people saying they don't quit their miserable jobs because they're afraid that their boss might be a jerk. To me, that's mind-blowing. But the one rule that I have is that if I make a wrong decision, I fix it right away. And I know that in the short term, when I quit a job, or in the short term when I make a major decision, I know that people will be mad at me. People will be disappointed with me, and I know that I could potentially be embarrassed for the decisions that I make. And this includes, being embarrassed in front of your coworkers, your bosses, your friends, and your family. And I know in the short term that's going to happen 100%. In the long term, I know that for my legacy, this is the right decision. If I make a wrong decision, I will fix it right away. If I see the writing on the wall, whether it's for my position, for the company, for me not getting along with other people and the people that I work with, I fix it right away. I have 0 tolerance for that. And that's based off my principle that I know the decisions I make are going to be wrong, but I fix them right away, full stop. Principle number 2, I accept the fact that my career is not a straight line. I've said this a few times before. If I stayed with my career at Accenture and Deloitte, the line would be like this, up and to the right. I would have more money in the bank, I would have a bigger house, and I would have traveled to a lot more places than I have. But most importantly, the one thing I want you to remember is I would never be creating this video because I would never have to. I would have never started writing because I would have needed to. I would have never learned digital marketing because I would have never needed to. And because my career up until this point, from the outside looking in, kind of looks like this sine wave. And at the bottom is where the dips, were really the lowest points of my career, my life. But these dips are some of the most magical things that I will never forget. These dips are where I learned the power of broke. These dips are where I learned how to write. This is where I learned digital marketing. I learned how to sell myself. I learned how to create things that people want. I learned to stop spending my time on creating things that people don't want. These dips are the things that I will never, ever forget. Quitting has made me a stronger person, and it made me realize that even at my worst, I know that I could still overcome that. And when I talk about this sine wave, you probably can't see it from this, but every dip gets low, but then it gets higher. And the dips, the dip is never gets as low as the first one. I still get low, but I know that it keeps going like this. In the short term, I know that I'm going to have these dips, but in the long term, I know what my legacy is. Principle number 3, I avoid negativity like the plague. People don't like things they don't understand. So I want you to understand this. The next time you're talking to someone and someone's giving you advice, or someone you perceive as a hater, or someone that you're making decisions based on how they're going to think about you as opposed to what you want to do, I want you to understand this. They're going to die. And the last thing you want to have happen is you go to their funeral and you look at their casket and you wonder to yourself, why did I listen to a person that refused to live their life to the fullest potential? Why did I base my decisions off of what someone else was going to think about me when in reality, I shouldn't have? That's why I'm very choosy about the people that I try to please. And if it's not my immediate family and friends, I don't do it. Principle number 4 is I am present every day, and I make sure that I appreciate the things that I have and appreciate the things that I've done. There is a reason that at the peak of my career, I packed my bags and I took my wife quit her job, and I took my 2-year-old child to the Middle East and Thailand for 6 months. I did that because I know that I might not get that chance in the future. I did that knowing that it's going to impact my career, and I made a decision based off that. But I know that for me to appreciate life, I can't just keep thinking about this. If I don't appreciate the things that I have, if I don't appreciate my surroundings, then I have nothing. And so I am willing, even at the peak of my career, to take chances like that, to enjoy it. And if you've never been, Middle East is where my family's from, and Thailand, in Phuket, Thailand, where we stayed, it's one of the most beautiful places on earth. It drives me to continue to have a life like that long term. So let me summarize for you the 4 principles. Accept that every decision you make is going to be wrong, but do something about it when you make a wrong decision. Accept the fact that your career is not a straight line. Ignore negativity like the plague. And most importantly, live in the moment, be present. And that's my first episode of Real Talk with Robbie. Thank you so much for listening. And as any self-respecting digital marketer would do, they would tell you, subscribe, share, like, do what you got to do. If it's on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. I think it's there. It might be there. Just click any button, man. And if you're on LinkedIn, add me, follow me. I'll be more than happy to connect with you. Thank you so much. Have a great day.